Gina Carano and whatnot, who was the lady from The Mandalorian who got canceled for, speaking her own views. Like they want to, they'll put up for women all day until, a woman disagrees with their narrative, and then they'll throw them out, throw them under the bus right away. So it's funny how the hypocrisy happens with that kind of thing. Because I don't like to punch down. I don't. I see the madness in the world, and I joke about a lot of things, but Hoff doesn't like to punch down. But sometimes you see that's so freaking crazy in this world, you just got to be like, what is happening? Where are we heading? Why is no one standing up for this? Why can't anyone stand up for this? I mean, some people are. We'll look more into that here in a little bit, or at least let's just take a look at this. I'm sure you've all heard about this article right here. I'm sure you've heard about the NCAA transgender swimmer that was ranked 462nd against men to number 1 as a, in quotes, female. And this article says, apparently when you can't beat the people in your own gender, it's best to just switch and claim you're a female so you can dominate. I feel sorry for all the young women in the future who dreamt of becoming number 1 in sports, only to be dominated by a guy who couldn't cut it as a man, so he claimed he was transgender and went on to dominate the women. Sad. Let's celebrate some men for beating women. Tom McDonald lyrics, It's so disgusting.
Lia, how did that performance measure up to your expectations coming into this meet tonight?
I didn't have a whole lot of expectations for this meet. I was just happy to be here, trying to race and compete as best as I could.
You've undoubtedly been under the spotlight over the past few months. How have you been dealing
I'm
with
so
that?
disappointed with society. It's ridiculous.
I try to ignore it as much as I can. I try to focus
this
on
man
my swimming,
shaving his armpits.
What I need to do to get ready for my races, and just try to block out everything else.
What did that race mean to you?
It means the world to be here.
Look at this picture over here. Look at this lady in the cowboy hat over here. I like her. I wear my cowboy hat for her sometime. I like that girl over there. She's like, what is going on? This guy is allowed to compete against us? And this girl in the middle, I don't know what she's doing. I think she's just trying to pose. But this girl over here, she's a cowgirl. She don't want to put up with no bullshit like this guy over here. And let's not mess around. I'm not saying any hate speech by calling this man a guy. He's a man. He looks like a man. He's built like a man. He's probably still got all of his genitals until proven otherwise. Why is he swimming against girls? And I think that girl in the cowboy hat, I think I saw one of these ladies over here, I think it was her, was put on Twitter that they don't want to swim against trans men anymore, or trans women anymore, because it's just not fair. And I'm not saying anything bad about women. This is the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life. Where they get this idiot got a trophy, and the worst part about it is the fact that this guy, and I'm going to call a spade. Fuck YouTube, you want to come at me, or whoever, I don't give a shit, come at me. I'm not going to change my stance on this. This guy here who is celebrated for beating women, he was accepted into this, and he is too much of a psychopath or mentally deranged and thinks he's so much of a girl that he still stood up on freaking stage with that trophy, proud as hell with it, and let these women, that he's like 2 feet taller than these women. He's like a dang redwood tree over some like, weeping willows over there. Weeping willow over there on the right. And this is just like, how could you, like, they let you in to the club and then you have the balls, pun intended, to go in and beat women? and then hold your trophy like you're a good boy. No, this guy's paid off. This is a psyop. This is hands down a psyop. There's no way that this guy is not been paid off to do this. It's media propaganda. It's all over the media. It's happening all over. And they want you to second guess yourself when you call this man a man. They're like, no, maybe he is a girl. Maybe he could have kids one day from his vagina. Maybe he could be a woman. No, he's not. He's a fucking dude. It's like putting a freaking horse in a dog race or something. It's not the same. Once again, nothing against women. I'm trying to help the women here. I love the ladies. Ladies should not stand for this crap. They shouldn't. There's just no room for it. And nothing against women's sports, but a lot of women in sports complain that they don't get paid as much as the men. And that's only because the fact that it doesn't get the same amount of ad revenue because men don't watch as many people don't watch as many women's sports as they do men's sports. And that's just the way it is. It's not as exciting because women out there, they're trying to protect themselves a little bit more. Men go out there, they don't give a shit. They'll get a concussion. They'll get a broken rib or something. Women out there, they're like, I still kind of want to look good after the game. I don't really want to have a black eye, so I'm going to take care of myself. We'll have a nice little softer game. And that's just ad revenue. There's nothing against women's sports. So do you think they might be trying to spice up women's sports by adding men to women's sports and under a trans disguise or something like that? Because in my opinion, it's a psyop. I don't know what is going on here, but there's no way you can be this psychopathic and go and beat women in a race as a man and then still hold the trophy at the end proud. This guy's a piece of shit. Even if he is being paid, he sold his soul, because you should never do that. It's so dishonest. It's such a scummy, grimy piece of shit worthy kind of thing. And I just can't stand for it. Like, this is bullshit to me. Excuse my language. I'm sorry. I told myself I was not going to go off on this, and I went off on it. It's just so unfair to the ladies. Hoff loves the ladies. And this is so unfair to the ladies to see some guy going in there acting like a lady. Doesn't even look like a lady. He's got shoulders bigger than Big Mike Obama, This guy's beating women at sports, and people are celebrating him. The people who celebrate this, we'll watch one of these idiots right now. I'll show one of these. Okay, let's watch the rest of this, I guess, and then I'll show that one.
Here, be with two of my best friends and teammates, and be able to compete.
Thank you for stopping by.
Thank you so much.
He doesn't look like a woman. He doesn't sound like a woman. I ate from William and made it Lia and grew out his hair. What a piece of shit, dude. What a piece of shit. To go up there and hold that trophy amongst them actual women athletes. And hold that trophy like you didn't do anything wrong. You know what you did. That's why they're not standing close to you. And that's why people are going to boycott this. And it is a psyop, in my opinion. But at the same time, like I said, this guy, well, I wouldn't call him a man, hardly a man, but this guy, this male, sold his soul. Someone's paying him to do this. There's no way around it. There's no way. So let's check out one of these idiots who actually agrees with this crap. This is so annoying. I'm sorry, bosses, but you're gonna have to see it. TikToker, good old TikTok, probably worst thing in the world. It's Chinese spy crap. Backdoor for Chinese spy. Wants women kicked off the women's team because they don't want a biological male changing in their locker room. Here we go, bosses. Let's see. Another day, another lunatic claiming anyone who doesn't agree with a biological male allowed to go into women's locker rooms or bathrooms despite still having all of their male sexual organs is somehow T-phobic. This time, this girl, whom I've never heard of, is attempting to make that ridiculous claim. Yeah, this person's an idiot.
Every day, it seems like Lia Thomas's fellow athletes get more and more transphobic. Now they're saying they're uncomfortable sharing a changing room with her. You know, it's one thing to say that it has something to do with her speed. Like, that's transphobic too. But I can kind of understand.
By the way, I didn't know Rocky Dennis was still alive. This person right here, Rocky Dennis, I didn't know he was still alive. Anyways, go ahead. Another trans person talking about trans person. Let's go.
Coming from a place of ignorance and not transphobia. However, this is just blatant transphobia. Nothing to do with her swimming, nothing to do with her abilities. They just don't want to be around trans people. You know, UPenn, if you really want to show your support for Lia, kick these transphobic girls off the team. They're the problem.
You see how it works? So the eventual plan is to have an entire women's team, swim team, get the real women out of there and get the trans women in there, so they can compete. It's just going to be another men's event eventually, right? Because it's all just going to be guys in women's clothing, women's bathing suits swimming. So they want to kick all the women out of women's sports and have men in women's sports because they want to have more money coming towards it or some shit like that. Or they want to put a propaganda piece out there, push a narrative or something like that. This is so cynical and disgusting. And they're trying to make people confused, question what they've known their entire lives, that there's a male and there's a female, and when they get together, they can make a babe. And whenever they tell people that, it's part of the depopulation agenda that they want to do because they want to get carbon output down. At least that's their excuse. And they don't want people around anymore. So they're trying to promote gayness. They're trying to promote trans. They're trying to promote any kind of thing that won't allow a man and a woman get together and make a baby. You've seen China do it. They had that rule there. I don't know if they still do anymore, but they had the rule like you have like what a baby, and then like the second baby comes out. If it's a girl, then see you later. That's all part of this plan. It's a globalist plan, allegedly, and that it's all it's sick because the people who want to control us, they can do it better if there's less of us. And you might be thinking like, well, Hoff, why would you think that? Why, if there's less population, why would they want less people working for them? It's simple. You can't control a bigger part of the population. You can control a smaller group of people than a larger group of people because their group doesn't grow too much. It's grown quite a bit. You know what I'm talking about. But they're trying to put this umbrella over their small umbrella over a smaller amount of people, in my opinion. And the only thing they can do about that is depopulation. When it comes to not reproducing as humans, they want to feed this agenda that it's okay to not reproduce. And it's all tactics. And they want to make people who do want to reproduce feel ashamed about it, or at least feel like, oh, I should have let a man beat some women at sports. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. All right? I ain't dealing with this crap. This is the stupidest shit I've ever heard. These people got no grounds on us bosses. They don't. We're smarter than this, and more people are waking up every day. And thankfully, at least we got this. But here we go. Feel how you want about him, but this one says Governor DeSantis declares Sarasota swimmer winner over transgender athlete. And I'm going to give this an upvote here. Let's watch this one,
Last
bosses.
year, we signed a bill to ensure fairness in women's athletics. We thought it was very important that young girls and women athletes in the state of Florida had the ability to work hard, to realize their dreams, and to compete fairly, whether it's in swimming, whether it's in track and field, you name it. And that's something that was really meaningful to a lot of people in Florida, particularly people like me who are parents of young girls. So that's something that was really important, and we're glad we did.
You mentioned your daughter
look
being
at what
beat
the
by a
NCAA
dude.
has done by
Not
allowing basically men to compete in women's athletics, in this case, the swimming. You had the number one woman who finished was from Sarasota, Emin Wyand. She won the silver medal. She's been an absolute superstar her whole career. She trains. I mean, to compete at that level is very, very difficult. And you don't just roll out of bed and do it. That takes grit. That takes determination. And she's been an absolute superstar. And she had the fastest time of any woman in college athletics. Now, the NCAA is basically taking efforts to destroy women's athletics. They're trying to undermine the integrity of the competition, and they're crowning somebody else the woman's champion. And we think that's wrong. And so in Florida, I'm going to be later today, because this is a Floridian who I think deserves to be recognized. We're going to be doing a proclamation saying that Emma is the best female swimmer in the 500-meter freestyle.
Hell yeah,
because she earned
Ronnie
that.
boy.
And we need to
Nice.
stop allowing organizations like the NCAA to perpetuate frauds on the public. And that's exactly what they're doing. They are putting ideology ahead of opportunity for women athletes. And I think that there's just some people that are afraid to speak out and say what they're doing, but that is what they're doing. And so in Florida, we're going to be very clear when they try to do things that, when they try to undermine the integrity of competition, when they try to counteract the ability of women to realize their dreams. We are going to speak out about that. And so we'll be issuing that proclamation, just because, as somebody that was such a great athlete in Florida, has now moved on to the University of Virginia, we need to honor that appropriately. And if the NCAA was willing to actually ensure the integrity of women's competition, she would have been crowned national champion.
That dude needs to hand the trophy over to the lady who actually won. Barb says, preach it, Hoff, take them gloves off. My problem is, Hoff loves the ladies. Hoff loves the ladies, all right? And when I see a bully like this guy pretending to be a woman, taking advantage of women, that pisses me off, all right? It really pisses me off, because I don't like that at all, because women are beautiful creatures, and they have advantages men will never, ever have in their lives. Granted, sports, we got to be honest, aren't one of them. And when you see a bully like this guy who tucks his freaking junk into his bathing suit and goes out there and beats women at a sport and then holds the gold trophy proudly, that pisses me off, because I don't want the women to have to deal with that. That's oh my gosh, I don't like bullies. And what's worse than a man bullying women? Nothing. You're not a real man if you're bullying women. You're not. You're just not. And granted, this guy, William, whatever the frick his name is not a real man, because he's claimed he wants to be a woman. So he's not a real man. So I guess that gives him the leeway to it, Yeah, I'm not a real man, so who am I? I'm on the same level as women. No, you're not. You're 2 feet taller, and you got shoulders wide as Sasquatch. I can't believe people support this kind of thing. How can anyone support this? How can anyone be swayed by this propaganda to believe that this guy swimming against women is a woman? How can you be that stupid? This world we're living in. Let's wake up to this crap, people. This ain't. You can't be this dumb. You just can't. Oh, if I really don't think most people are this dumb. I think it's a small minority of people who are this dumb, who have a lot of voices, who get paid to say these things and don't get taken off because it's all part of the agenda. We've been through this, but we can't shut up about this. The people who are level-headed, who understand how nature, biology, the world itself works, we don't have to hate anyone because they're different. No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is we can't have men out there beating women and cover it up with a lie that he's a woman too. We can't have that. That's bullshit. Straight up bullshit. Like, we cannot have that. That's so stupid. We have to understand there are differences between us all. We're not all equal. There's people with the freaking equality bumper stickers on the back of their cars. Oh, I just want to slam them so hard whenever I'm driving down the highway. Just like, equality is false. There's no such thing. You cannot have, we can treat each other all equal. Yes, that's the point. That's what I'm saying. We can treat each other all equally, but we can't give each other equal opportunities and expect equal outcomes from those equal opportunities. Yes, we can all just be nice to each other. At the same time, you can't put a man in a woman's swim race or a tennis match or a golf match or football or whatever. You just can't do it. You just can't. And I'm not saying fuck all trans people. I'm saying fuck people who take advantage of the system. If you're trans, I'm cool with that. You can be here at Hoffcast. I'll be your friend. But if you're being trans to take advantage of the system and beat women at sports, I'll fight you. I'll fight you. I will. I'll fight you straight up, man to man, because you're not a real man. I know I can kick your ass. So I'd love to meet this swimmer. Hoff signing off.